little weird. We haven't done a face-to-face in a while, but I'm at VidCon and I'm doing a collab with Sarah. She does nutrition videos, so you need to go check out her channel because we did a meal planning video there. So today we are going to talk about how to get started with like healthy living. If you've been watching or following me on my other social media, you know that I'm trying to make this like the healthiest decade of my life. I'm trying to get thinner and healthier and just be overall just better, the best me I can be. So Sarah is going to give us some tips on how we can do that. So where do we start?
Okay, well, I have to say before we get into it that I do think it's awesome what you're doing, and I just think self-improvement overall is really important for everyone in any area of your life. You never want to stay the same. You always want to keep growing, so I think that is a good thing. As far as getting started with healthy eating or other healthy lifestyle changes that you're trying to make, I've seen a few things for myself in my own life, but also with the clients I work with as a dietitian. And the first thing that really helps is to make one or maybe two changes at a time. So it's really common and really tempting to kind of jump in, dive in head first, and make all sorts of changes at once. And it's really exciting, you're getting pumped up, and you're going on this plan, and it's going to be awesome. But the problem with that is it normally doesn't last for the long term. And what happens is, you know, you've got all these balls that you're juggling in the air, you're trying to keep track of whatever that you're trying to do, right? And then, you know, you get sick, or something that happens with your job, your schedule changes, or one of your kids gets sick, or, you know, anything that happens in life just happens, you know, and we can't plan for everything. Unexpected things come our way. And then what happens with that is all that stuff that you're juggling, it falls apart, comes crashing down. You just can't keep track of it because now you're having to divert your attention to this crisis or just change that's happening. So when you start with one thing or two things, that really allows you to focus in. You can put your attention on that, you can work on it, and not be distracted by 100 things. And then also with that, as you work through that process, those new things are going to become new habits. And once that happens, then you don't have to think about them anymore. They're just how you live your life. And then you can move on to the next thing. And so when you go through that process of trying a couple new things, getting them set in place, then moving on to the next, it creates this snowball. And so you're adding these new habits on one after another. And that's how you change your lifestyle overall and have something that is really going to last long term and isn't stressing you out or taking all of your energy and attention.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like, doing it in baby steps is the best way to do it, and then you feel better about yourself too.
Yeah, because you're accomplishing something, you're actually getting something done, making changes.
Right, you really just at the beginning, how do we start?
As far as getting started and making like those first steps, figuring out what those little changes are, the best advice I can give you is to start exactly where you are, because, you know, everyone has a different lifestyle, has a different situation, and also has a different, different habits right now. So for the person who is eating at the fast food drive-thru 3 times a day, that person's goals, their first step is going to be totally different than someone who's already cooking all their meals at home, but maybe wants to improve the ingredients or try some new foods or something like that. So really, honestly, assessing where you are and then just taking the next step on that path. So you're pushing yourself a little bit, but you're not totally jumping ahead, because that again creates that situation where it's too much at once. You can't keep that up long term, and then you just end up right back where you were. So it doesn't have that exciting like hoorah of like jumping ahead 20 steps, right. But once you make that first step, you can keep moving down the path, and over time, that's when you're really going to create that new life, which is what you're craving.
So most of my viewers are planners, and we love planning. So how do we plan these changes into our lives?
Okay. As far as figuring out how you're actually going to make it happen, I think, again, it comes down to making it personalized, right? Because, again, we all have different schedules and situations. So looking at your schedule so far and figuring out where these changes can naturally fit in. So, for example, if you're trying to eat healthier and cook more food from scratch at home, if you have a really stable work schedule or schedule in your day where you're going to be home at the same time. And maybe for you, you like cooking, you find it relaxing, it's kind of therapeutic, it's a nice way to like, you know, unwind at the end of the day. Then for you, cooking dinner at the end of the day every day, you know, 5 days a week or whatever, is probably going to be great for you because that's fitting into your natural rhythm of how you feel, how you live your life. But on the other hand, if you're someone who has an erratic work schedule, or maybe you get home really late, maybe for you cooking at the end of the day seems more tiring or stressful when you're already, you know, feeling like you need to relax, then for you, it might be better to do meal prep 1 or 2 days a week, like on the weekend or something, where you block off like 2 or 3 hours and you just crank stuff out all at once. And that can be cooking whole meals and having them in the freezer or fridge, or maybe you just prep ingredients so you can just throw everything in the pan and you don't have to chop anything up on the night of. It's really about looking at how your life works and then making it natural, making those puzzle pieces come together instead of fighting what you have going on.
I personally love my slow cooker for that very reason. I'll throw a whole chicken or a whole roast in there at the beginning of the week, and then we eat it the rest of the week.
Right, and leftovers are your friend. You know, if you're busy, they're great. Whether you want to have the same thing 3 days in a row or you want to freeze it and pull it out next week, it can really be a big time saver and take away some of that stress if you have a lot of stuff going on.
So when I start out, you know, like I'm going to cook all these like really healthy meals or, you know, meal prep, whatever it is, I start out gung-ho and I'm excited and I'm doing it, but then it starts to dwindle. How do I keep up that feeling, that momentum, you know, like, woohoo, I'm doing it.
Right. Yeah, that is the thing, like for a lot of people, your momentum starts to come down. I think the first thing with that is making sure you have a real strong why you're doing this. Because if it's just like, well, I guess what I'm saying is that kind of motivation is fleeting. It's something that maybe you read a quote on Pinterest or something, I don't know, you know, and you kind of feel like, yeah, and then, you know, you need another dose of that. So that can be helpful to kind of get you going, but you really need something more concrete that comes from you to make that last. And another thing that can really help is getting support from other people. So whether that's, you know, your friends and family, it could be an online community of people who are doing the same thing as you, or it could be a local group. So maybe at a library or a community center or church or whatever, just surrounding yourself with people who at least understand what you're doing and support it, or maybe even people who are going through it at the same time, because having those people who can share their knowledge, their experience, their advice, as well as just be there to talk to you when you're having struggles, or celebrate, you know, successes for you when you are creating new habits, learning new recipes, trying new things, that can really help, you know, keep you going. And I think on the flip side of that too, you have to look at the people in your life who maybe aren't that supportive. You know, if you have someone that is, you know, is just going to be critical or is going to maybe, I don't know, mock you or not take it seriously, or maybe try to sabotage you because they feel insecure about themselves. Unfortunately, there are, you know, we all know people like that because they're struggling with something. So you really want to look at those people, and you don't have to give them every detail about what you're doing. Those are not the people you want to tell exactly what you're trying to do if you know that it's going to pull you back and bring you down. They might still be a great person in your life for other areas, but that doesn't mean they have to know everything, or that, you know, you have to share every detail about everything that you're doing.
Well, those are some really great tips, and I'm super excited to use them because I know I will, and you guys should too. And I want to say thank you to Sarah for coming here and doing this. This has been so much fun. But make sure you subscribe to her channel and go to her channels to watch our other video that we did of a meal planning and how I do it in my planner. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to comment down below if you have a question for Sarah or just about anything in general, about either one of us. Go ahead and put that in the comments below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!